Hi, I'm here today to share my new video, but firstly just wanted to apologise for my absence over the last month. So I've been completely submerged in recording my new online course, Pushing the Boundaries of Gel Printing. So if this is something you may be interested in the near future, it's due to release around autumn 2025, and I will drop a link to join the newsletter or the waitlist in the description below. But today I wanted to share an idea where I wanted to try and combine collage and gel printing. So my idea is, by using a collage underneath and using my homemade masks, that almost create windows where the collage can pop through. So I'd say one was more successful than the other today, but it's all a learning curve. So if you'd like to follow my process, watch the video. If you've liked the video, please subscribe to my channel and drop a comment in below if you've got any questions. So let's get started. So to start off with, I'm going to make a really basic collage, and I'm just using my roll-off sheets that I remove excess paint from the gel plate with. I've got an old map that I've bought in a charity shop, and I've just ripped out a few sections of that. And I've got a scrap piece of wet strength tissue paper that I've printed on as well. And all I'm doing is I've ripped those pieces up randomly, and I am gluing them using a Pritt stick down to just a piece of sketchbook paper, so I've got something a little bit more sturdy to print on. I'm using a Pritt stick to glue my pieces down. I'm applying quite a lot of Pritt stick because I need to make sure that these pieces of paper are well stuck down and they're not going to lift when I place this on the gel plate. For the tissue paper, I'm going to use a matte medium, but I want to keep it as dry as possible because I really want to get printing, so I don't want to wait too long for this to dry. So that's why I'm going to use Pritt stick for the majority of my collage. I'm working quite intuitively. I'm not really giving this a huge amount of consideration. I tend to work in threes, so you can see I've got 3 pieces of map, I've got 3 darker green colours, you'll see I had 3 pieces of tissue paper, and I just find by working in threes and almost kind of a triangle with the pieces, so as you can see from the map, one in the top left corner, one in the middle right, and then one in the bottom, I'm creating a balance across my collage. I'm overlapping my pieces and just making sure they're really stuck down nicely. So I'm now pouring a little of matte medium into a little jar, and I'm going to use this with a brush to apply some medium on underneath my tissue paper, and then again on top of my tissue paper to smooth that out. Again, I'm working quite intuitively, so I decide I don't like that darker area in the middle of the print, so I've turned it around and reapplied it to the collage. Again, just making sure I've got matte medium underneath and on top of the tissue paper to make sure it goes nice and transparent. I'm also not worried if the papers overhang the paper at this point. I can always trim these back when it's dry. Once I'm finished, I'm going to leave these to fully dry, and I've actually repeated the process twice, so I've got 2 backgrounds to print on. So my idea is that I'm going to use one to pull the print and the second background to pull the ghost print. So these are some homemade masks that I've made for a previous video. They're made out of Yupo paper. You don't have to use Yupo paper. You could use copier paper or Tyvek envelopes. I just like to use Yupo paper because it's quite strong and it lasts quite a long time, and I can reuse them over and over again. So here I have my 2 collages that are completely dry. I'm going to be using Amsterdam in Graphite, and I'm going to use Liquitex Basics in blue grey. I'm applying a small amount of the graphite acrylic paint to my gel plate and using my brayer to distribute that so it's nice and smooth and even across my gel plate. So I'm now placing my homemade masks onto the gel plate. Again, I've not pre-planned this, I'm just working intuitively, trying to cover the gel plate and thinking about where I can create these windows where the collage is going to pop through. I'm overlaying the masks in places to try and add more interest to my design. I'm now placing one of my collages over the gel plate and giving it a really good rub to make good contact before pulling it back to reveal that print. So my original intention was to now remove the masks and pull the ghost print on top of the second background. But when I removed the masks, I really wasn't keen on what was left on the gel plate. So I just decided to remove it and start again. So I'm now applying a small amount of the Liquitex Basics blue grey to my gel plate, and again using my brayer to distribute this nice and evenly across my gel plate. I'm now placing my masks down again trying to think about how I can create a better composition this time where I still want those windows of collage to be able to come through. I'm now going to lay down my second background that I prepared earlier, and I'm giving it a good rub to create really good contact on the gel plate and pick up all those areas in between and surrounding those masks to create some nice shapes. And as I pull back this print, I'm already much happier than the first print. It's got more clarification, kind of more definition with those areas popping through. There seems to be quite a lot of paint left on the gel plate, so I was just repositioning that mask that had come off, and I'm using a piece of copier paper to go in to remove more of that paint from the gel plate. So I'm now peeling back the masks, and you can see as I peel back the masks, some of them are a different shade of blue. So that is where the grey is wet on the mask from the previous print and is mixing with the blue paint to create different shades of colour, which is quite nice. So I decided to pull the ghost print using a patchwork technique where I'm not putting the whole piece of paper across a gel plate. I'm just putting a section of the paper down to just pull part of the print. And then I'm now just adding a section to the other print. I've still got a small amount of pattern left at the top of my gel plate, so I'm just rotating that print to fill that top corner. So I'm now placing a mount over my prints to see whether I'm happy with them and like the composition. I'm much happy with this print. It seems more balanced, and the colours, the tones, the light against the dark. I really like how the matte work is poking through. Yeah, really happy with the composition on this print. So I'm not really happy with this print at all. I've lost a lot of the detail of the matte work. I've lost the contrast and the shapes, but it's a learning curve and I've learned a lot from creating this print. Drop me a comment, let me know what you think.